Hey everyone, NanMan here. This video was created to line up with the 10th anniversary of StarCraft 2. It's going to be a multi-part kind of episodic series highlighting the major events that took place in 2010. Before we jump into the video, I wanted to take a minute and quickly talk about Brood War. Leading up to StarCraft 2's release, Brood War was kind of the first major esports boom that existed, especially in Korea. Organizations had exclusive rights to broadcast on TV, such as OSL and MSL. Players need to get a professional gaming license to be able to play in these leagues. They would get these from being able to play in tournaments like the Courage tournament, and they would win a professional gaming license. Outside of Korea, there was smaller events that would take place, like the TSL 1 and 2 that Team Liquid put on, as well as the World Cyber Games, or WCG, which was kind of a multi-world event and kind of leading up to multiple events that could take place with the grand finals. This all was taking place kind of prior to streaming as we know it now. Like, there's no Justin TV, there's no Twitch TV, so things were a little bit different. But just wanted to kind of give a little quick history about Brood War, since this whole series is going to be mainly focused about StarCraft 2. But without further ado, let's jump into the episode. The StarCraft series is the most successful real-time strategy, or RTS, ever released. In 2007, Blizzard announced StarCraft 2.
Hell, it's about time.
StarCraft 2 entered beta February 17, 2010, and in February 23rd and March 6th, Waves 2 and 3 went out. By the end of March, beta testers were given an additional key to invite a friend. By March 29th, Blizzard announced that PC bongs in Korea are allowed to run StarCraft 2 beta without needing an opt-in key. During this time, a lot of former StarCraft Brood War players and Warcraft 3 players made the switch to StarCraft 2. Teams began to form around the developing competitive scene. The beta brought about a lot of online cups and show matches, but we are going to focus on two main tournaments, the HDH Invitational and the King of the Beta. These events showcase former Brood War players battling it out. The HDH Invitational was extremely popular due to Day 9 and Tasteless battling it out in the round of 16. This event also featured Day 9, Tasteless, and TLO playing random for the event.
Really support this kind of after cybernetics core build, and Day9 now does see the robotics facility going up. So with that information, he's actually going to move out. No, he's actually going to come back in, maybe just to confirm, because he didn't click the building warping in. So now Day9 knows that there's a robotics bay coming in. He is probably not going to go roaches, like he said, because the most common unit we see out of the robotics is the Immortal. And of course, Day9, like you guys said, like he said, he really hates using roaches, as do I. So we might be seeing some Hydralisks. Hydralisks are pretty good against Roach, and he's still Day9's still on two bases here. And the robotics facility, gets canceled right there. Robotics facility getting canceled, and Tasteless throwing down two extra gateways after the drone has there's no more drone inside Tasteless's base. So Tasteless trying to trick his brother maybe, and going for some kind of a quad gateway rush. So Day9 might not be prepared for this.
He may definitely not be. I think that the scouting probe gave Tasteless the confidence to go ahead and switch his build up like this, and I do like how he got that Stalker first, which is pretty common if you're going to be getting those heavy gas builds, just because you want to get that Stalker out right away to deal with the scouting units so that you don't reveal your tech, because the Zealot will chase a drone around all day and never kill it. And so we really have to see if these Zerglings can peek up there. They are seeing 2 gateways, and I don't know if I'm looking at day 9 screen, he actually still sees the robotics warping in, and so he really needs to get a peek up there to see exactly what's going on. But with the sentry and the stalker there, that's going to be very difficult, even chrono boosting the last couple of precious seconds on that warp gate technology. So we are definitely going to see an early timing tech here, as there is, it looks like 2 units on the way.
As the matches progressed, Idra was able to get revenge on Noni for his loss in the Brood War Team Liquid Star League 2 from February. He was looking more and more like the favorite to win. On the other side of the bracket, the former Brood War pro who defeated Boxer at WCG 2009 and had placed second at ESL's Beta Invitational in February was tearing through his opponents on his way to the finals.
To try and reclaim some of that map control. I think we're going to see a pretty one-sided slaughter, though, simply because, I mean, there's just way too many Hydras, and really Idra pumping a ton of Roaches. He is showing us that Roaches are still in the game, but here comes the attack right now. Can White Raw pull a miracle here? The Colossus in the back, which is exactly where they need to be. I think, though, that the Corruptors are going to do way too much damage to these Colossus. Yes, they're going to be backing out here. This does not look good, as White Raw's army is getting absolutely owned here. As, yeah, this is definitely going to go to Idra in game number 1. So, we are going to move on to game number 2. Idra playing phenomenal that game, and even doing a Roach opener, which we hadn't seen against.
The conversation is he really needs to push out, and he can't allow the drones to macro off this gold expansion. That's just huge. If Idra were to start getting that economy up and running, he's just going to run away, and there's going to be no hope. It's almost going to be like a repeat of game number 1, but here comes Whiterah, and he is pushing out, and I like his positioning of his units. He can actually put the Colossus on this high ground to start abusing those cliff ledges, but I think he's going to push in and he's going to try to take out this expansion right now, right here. Idra at 155, Whiterah at 140. He needs to force field his the Hydralisk and Roaches right now. He's not using force fields. There we go. Some force fields going down. The Colossus going to work. 5 kills and 3 kills apiece. And wow, more force fields going down. The Hydras can't shoot. The Hydras can't shoot. And I think Whiterah's going to come out ahead here, and he's even bringing another Colossus from behind. Uh-oh, Idra here is actually in a lot of trouble, as his entire army has been burned down, and Idra calls GG, so it's not a shame.
Wow, Idra, under any circumstances, this is absolutely worst case scenario where he's got to get an early economic edge. I think it was smart of White Raw to do the build he did. It's just the control from Idra was so good. Not only did he bring the Spinecrawler forward to absorb that damage, but he got the Zerglings on top of it at the same exact time as well. So these rocks got to go down. This is going to be very difficult here for White Raw to defend. I mean, look at the huge stream of units on the way. These rocks are going down in a matter of seconds, although actually distracting these Hydras with the Stalkers, as I don't know if he meant to do that there for Idra, but he's going to be up in his main base here any second. Oh, do you know the Colossus at the expansion?
Yeah, there is a Colossus at the expansion. Of Whiterah is actually trying to distract Idra, but Idra has just pushed in, killed a Colossus at the natural, and he's pushing in with a very large army of Hydralisks, and the Zerglings even going to work on the probes and Immortal. I don't think this Colossus is going to be able to do much. I mean, it has stopped all mining, but at what cost? Well, the cost is losing your Nexus at your natural, and now having a stream of Zerg swarm units coming into your main. I think this might be GG for Whiterah in game number 3.
I think it all came down to letting those Zerglings get inside his base after that failed cannon rush. It just allowed Idra to macro. And yeah, he is holding in here. I think he finally lost the Colossus there, but there he goes. He is going to GG, but he is moving out quite a few sentries. We'll see if he can make something happen with this early pressure.
Right, and Whiterah is putting those pylons down just south of the natural, and it's funny that Idra moved out with the Zerglings. I think Idra was thinking, hey, it's a 4-gate. I think there's going to be pylons here, so he moved his Lings out. Now, he does have 2 more spine crawlers on the way. I think he's going to be perfectly fine against this push, unless Whiterah is going to just bypass the natural, but the Speedling upgrade is done. Force fields. Where are the force fields from Whiterah? There are the force fields. Another proxy pylon being placed up, but Hydralisks are on the way, but now Whiterah is in a firm position of control. Oh my goodness. I think Idra might be in trouble here.
Hopefully Whiterah is going to reinforce it. He has 3 Stalkers just chilling by the pylon. There he goes. Does he have enough? He's actually engaging the strong point of Idra's defenses just head on. Can he march in here and make something happen with this early attack here? So far the answer is yes. He can run up here and kill these drones ASAP, which is exactly what he's doing. Look at this. Oh, Idra's going to GG. It is going to be tied up 2-2. We have quite the series here, folks. I cannot believe that
pretty much
White
this battle's
pulled
going
that
to come
off.
down to if Idra can get his infestors in position to mind control. Now, it's important to note that there's a lot of roaches and hydras. That's going to make it difficult for the infestors to get in range unless Idra can split his forces and doesn't just 1A, 2A. He really needs to come around the backside. Now, here comes the engagement. There are 3 cannons. Is the Colossus going to get mind controlled? I think so. Force fields going down. They are going to block the Colossus. Great force fields.
Oh my god, this is out of control. This is such a one-sided slaughterfest. Holy smokes. White Rod did that absolutely perfect, eating up those roaches. No problem. Like we said, your army size is so much smaller. White Raw, man, he is raging right now as he's got to move down here. He blocked off that mind control like we talked about. There is, oh, the Colossus ate up the infestors. Talk about a hero. Colossus just chilling out by the watchtower. And here comes White Raw. He is pissed. He wants to get this into a 3-2 matchup. Can he do it? We are about to find out.
Yep, both army sizes now even. That is because the Zerg player was able to macro up very quickly, but now all the infestors have gone down and new infestors will not have enough energy to mind control. So I do think this massive Colossus army, War of the Worlds, is going to take this game to the house, but there are 4 infestors on the way. They don't have enough energy to mind control. Oh. There are 2 corruptors, however, but there are enough stalkers to deal with that. I think we might be seeing a pretty quick GG here from Idra. It probably is going to be a 2-3 in favor of Whitera, and we might see a game number 6.
The fungal growth not that effective against these higher tech units. Usually you want those on the zealots and sentries. But look at this. Oh, Idra leads without GG! Oh, this is going to go to 3-2 in Whitera's favor. Oh, Idra is so pissed off right now, I can tell you. He had the... What Idra is trying to do to kill this gateway. And can he do it though? White Rod needs to keep these zealots in place. Here comes the run by! Oh, he blocks it off just in time! Oh my god, able to block that off. The cannon is gonna finish. This attack is not going to work. This is absolutely crazy right now.
GG!
Oh!
Idra GG's to Whitera. Whitera is victorious.
Oh my god!
4-2 or 4-2 in Whitera's favor. Whitera wins first place in the HDH Invitational. Idra loses and rage quits. Well, he rage quit last game. And during that entire battle, oh my goodness, he was...
As the release date grew near, Day 9 hosted an event known as the King of the Beta. It started July 18th and concluded on launch day, July 26th. The event featured 8 players: Huck, QXE, and Idra from North America, Demaga, TLO, and White Raw from Europe, Tester and Rainbow from Korea. Group A had QXE and Rainbow advancing over White Raw and Demaga, while Group B had Tester and Idra advancing over TLO and Huck. Idra 3-0'd QXE to advance to the finals, while Tester defeated Rainbow 3-2 to advance to the finals.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will be going into the grand final now. All right. All right, well, without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, the grand final of the Razor King of the Beta. Whoever wins this will win $2,000. Whoever gets second wins $1,000. That is many thousands of dollars. It was 3,000 if you add them together.
Simple math.
Either way, we got Idra spawning in the north as the green Zergy pieces, and at the bottom, we have Tester in the festive red.
And really, you see a lot of Zealot Sentry this early game, or this early on in the PvZ matchup. And here comes Tester. Looks like he's going to be moving forward, and this is going to be probably one of the biggest, I guess, deciding factors of this match right now.
He needs to get those perfect force fields, planting 1 at the ramp and like 5 to shove these Hydras back because they do such high DPS. Zergling's going for the pylon. He's running in. Guardian Shield goes down. Gets 1 good force field, but that second one isn't doing much as Zergling's annihilating the sentries. Look at these Hydras ripping up the Zealots, playing off that early lead with the Zergling counterattack. And good game.
Wow.
Idra takes game 1.
Wow, Idra taking game 1.
Just in the nick of time. This forges another huge vulnerability that could be the easy loss right there, and it looks like Idra adding on more Banelings, has 8 Banelings total. This is it. I mean, you need to have perfect force fields if you want to hope to hold this one off.
Yeah, we'll have to see exactly what Idra does. We do have those Banelings now out on the map. Is he going to go and take? Here come those Lings. They're going to take that first couple of shots. Here come the Banelings, slow but sure.
Oh, they're going for the pylons.
Right
oh!
Oh my God! What a great
and
force
go!
field.
Getting
Another
up great force field
from Tester. Idra is fuming
incredible.
right now.
I mean, that was absolutely flawless execution, and now Idra seeing that this forge is available. Here come the Banelings, get another great force field. Idra cannot even get in anywhere. Is he even mining gas? Nope, no more Banelings for you. This is it. Good game
GG.
after those two.
Wow.
Great force fields. Done. It's going to be so close for Idra. I mean, Idra's 200 food army against his 170 food perfect Colossus timing is going to be very, very hard for Idra. And here it comes. Looks like he's going to be repositioning himself, warping in more Stalkers. All right, there's the Guardian Shield. He's advancing forward. He's just charging. He's not going to wait at all, throwing down some very nice force fields. But look at the control, pulling everything back, letting the long range of this Colossi abuse everything. And there's some great force fields getting thrown down. Guardian Shields annihilating absolutely everything. Oh no, the Hydras are going to try to surround, but they are not in good shape. The Stalkers, this might be a repeat of the round of 8 game, but there are 3 Brood Lords here on the side. And suddenly, Tester's charging forward. Why is he moving that far to the right? He should have been pulling back. The Colossi are completely undefended, but they are still roasting through huge numbers of Hydralisks. Oh my God, Idra might have been able to defend this huge all-in, and there it is.
GG there from Tester. Wow, that was some great play there from Idra. Looks like he's going to start going back towards that creep down in the south. Trying again with that pylon. If once you do fail, you try again. So
he really wants that pylon up there. I don't blame him. He's going to get so much vision from that Zelnaga watchtower. Or he might just push mid. It looks like now more Immortals coming out. Oh, Tester saw this big transition back to Roaches and just decided to back up to the Immortals, but this is still a very small army from Tester battling a huge force from Idra. And here it comes. There's a force field. Great force field. There's so much from Idra. Look at those great force fields.
There's some more great force fields. Wow, completely encasing those Roaches. They're taking all the damage from those Colossus. Wow, look at this unit control from Tester, controlling those Colossus onto those Hydras there in the back and using the rest of his forces, especially those Immortals.
God.
And wow, I cannot believe that Idra actually lost that fight. What? How did that happen? That was some impressive force fields.
How to try to clean up, but there's still too many Stalkers and Sentries in the Colossi. Now seeing the Expo at the left. Idra trying to reinforce, but it's just not going to be enough. And good game.
Wow. He's going to go for an all-in right here.
He looks like he's just going for the huge counterattack. Idra is maxed Tester at 155, and that's okay as long as you have 4 or 5 Colossus too. It's just not going to be enough. Here's the Ultralisk coming out. Tester has defeated Idra every single time they have met in the finals, but Idra has a huge force. I don't know if he's going to be able to defend it. There are a lot of Immortals coming. There is the extra pylon. It all comes down to this last battle. He's getting the Observer in place, being able to pick things up.
Here we go.
And here come the Ultralisk. 2 Guardian Shields go down, immediately pulling back. Nice concave for Tester. But there are so many Ultralisks. Look at those force fields. But the front lines are getting ripped apart. Zealots advancing into the front. The Ultralisks are dropping like flies, but there are just so many of them. The Hydras are trying to press in. More Stalkers advancing. It looks like Idra's actually making progress into this front line, and it's just Stalkers against a huge force. And now the Ultralisks are coming in from behind as well. Tester might have lost the game with that attack.
Yeah, that was some great unit control from Idra. If you noticed, he was moving those Ultralisks back to take down those force fields, allowing his Hydras to move forward. And Tester right now is going to be trying to survive there, as there's quite a lot of Hydras. Looks like he's going to buy a little bit more time. But wow, Idra's just adding on the expansion right here. Looks like we're going to see another fight here. Look at that Ultralisk in the very front. They're doing so much damage.
And the huge amount of Zerglings coming in as well to overrun the Stalkers. Idra, this might be the chance for him to win. Going to the resource counter, he is doubling in food, completely overrunning everything that Tester has. These robotics facilities cannot produce fast enough. Tester is falling back to his natural, and more are swarming in.
Wow!
Idra
wins the king of the beta. Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Now, this was called the King of the Beta tournament. Yeah. I have to ask you, are you the king of the beta?
No, like I said, it was most of the good players. It wasn't everyone. Sen, I think, had an invite but couldn't go, and he is very good. Although I think my CV is better than him. So, Cool, obviously, was one of the most impressive players. He won a lot of games. He won the big World Cup thing. I think if I had to name the best players, it would be me, Tester, and Cool. And I think you can't really call a favorite there. And then there's some other players who are really close. But no, right now you can't say anyone's the best.
All right, well, a super congratulations to you. That is quite an epic tournament win.
Idra is referring to a player known as Cool, but we all know him as another ID, Fruit Dealer. He had won the 17173 StarCraft World Cup, and by the end of the beta, a dominant player was emerging from each region. Cool, or Fruit Dealer from Korea, White Raw from Europe, and Idra from North America. This also put a lot of players into overdrive with training in order to beat them. With the official release of StarCraft 2, esports exploded across the globe. Players began traveling around the world to compete in an IAM, 3 MLGs, a DreamHack, and a BlizzCon, all in a 4-month period. Hey everyone, NanMan here. I'm a StarCraft 2 and Magic the Gathering content maker and commentator. Thanks for tuning in and watching, guys. There's going to be a lot more of these histories of StarCraft videos coming up. So if you like the content, please consider following, subscribing, all that kind of good stuff. But again, thanks for tuning in and watching, and I'll see you guys next game.